My name is Cannon Lofton, and I'm Sean in the Coldest serving.
How did you prepare for this role?
I had the genetic advantage of being exactly what Sean was supposed to be, a rich white dude. So I prepared for it by being myself. I also prepared for it in the later scenes by not shaving my face. For the first couple of scenes in the, flashbacks, not the later scenes, Sean is more clean shaven. And then after, certain events happen, he's a bad guy, but he has a sort of surface level idea of depression about him. So he fails to do cleanliness things like shaving. The easiest word to describe him, he's a douche. He's rich, he's white, he thinks he owns the world, and, I hopefully I'm not a douche, but I do the other three things, but, he's more abrasive about it, but he's, in my mind, a coward. In the back of his own mind, in situations in which it would appear to be stressful, he's more of a coward. That's his true self. The outward self that he portrays to people like, Emma, other cast members, that's his outward appearance.
Christina Dang, who plays
My wife.
Emma, Sean's girlfriend in the film, is also your partner in real life. Did that have any effect on how you two played off of each other as actors for certain scenes?
It was definitely harder to stay in character for whenever I was acting directly with Tina than it was with other people. I felt like I was, acting a fool of myself in front of the person I don't want to act a fool of myself to. So it was hard to sort of portray who I was supposed to be without stepping over a boundary between me and her, Not that there was any sort of boundary that would have been betrayed by acting like Sean, but just sort of hard to both be myself and not be myself as Sean.
Your character commits an act of betrayal, one which we all know you would never do in real life, but what is your opinion of him as a character and how do you see him?
Of course, I wouldn't do that, but it does make sense for him. He's someone that believes he's owed everything that he has, and he's owed what he doesn't have. And so he tries to take what is not his, but he's too much of a coward to try to fight for it. So that sort of translates into him covering up his betrayal, hurting people. I've dealt with a lot of people that have done things like that. I'm not actively dating Sean, so it's hard to, fully understand the level of betrayal of what he has done. When I read the script, when I acted it, when we ended it, he remained what I envisioned him to be.
Did you find it difficult, as someone who in real life would never do that and has never done that before, was there any kind of a challenge for you in regards to trying to, get in the headspace of someone who would do something like that and how it might feel?
Yeah, definitely. I envision, not that I did what he had done, but that I had done something of equal proportion, and I was trying to cover it. I pretended to sort of just be like a child who got caught in a lie. That's how because I've been caught in lies as a kid. We all have. And that was how I acted, because Sean is a childish person.
You were bound to a chair for a large portion of production. What was that like?
Hot. Next question.
What is your favorite line in the film and why?
Favorite line? I don't want to spoil anything for any unwatched viewers, but a person listing out a couple of names and then says, "Not me." That kind of resonated with me because, what that person was doing at that time punctuated the sentences instead of spaces. And that sort of, it had not like a philosophical or meaning, it was just sick as hell. Yeah.
What was it like filming this movie in the middle of the summer in South Mississippi? How did it affect filming conditions, and did it take away from your ability to get into character or add to your ability to get into character?
It was hot as hell. That goes without saying. It was balmy. I was sweating like the devil's nutsack, It sucked putting the costume on because it sure stank. because we couldn't wash it. It definitely added to my ability to be, nervous on screen, because I can't, a lot of people can make themselves cry on command. I can get close to it. I'm not one of those people, but I definitely can't make myself sweat on command. So I was lucky to have the heat.
What was your favorite day on set?
Favorite day on set, last one, next.
What is your analysis of the film's themes and characters?
I've lived as a person who's been sort of keen to want revenge, and it's been not healing, but revealing to watch the process of revenge throughout the film. And, all of its themes and its ideas get fleshed out, and then it settles in a way that is not very healing to anybody in the film. Nobody gets what they want. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like about the film, is that it's definitely not a happy story, but even in stories that are not meant to be happy stories, there are sometimes people who get exactly what they want. Nobody got what they want. And that's, just how life is. It's unfair, and it's nice to see a vision of unfairness in a film like this. And, the characters, they play into that as well. They all want something that they can't have because they lost Emma. They all wanted that back, but they couldn't. So they went through actions, their own methods of coping to fix that, but it never really clicked for them.
How has this production impacted your life?
Sure got busy. It was definitely a busy time for me, not just from the film. I've had work, college, but it's been nice to connect with people my age and create something, to come together as a group on a project and, work together, build together, and then eventually see the fruits of those efforts. It's just been nice to have.
This was your first acting endeavor ever.
Yeah.
After your experience on this film, do you think you'd be interested in doing other acting projects on the side, like in the future?
Definitely. I would definitely like to do one more with this group of people. Mm-hmm. I don't know about, if I would ever want to do something like theater or, another person's film. Technically, though, this isn't my first film. Not first film, but not my first time acting.
Oh, really?
My stepfather had a YouTube channel, which I'm not going to say because I don't want the people to see this. That was not a good time for me because my stepfather was not a good person. And that having this, be such a good experience was definitely, I keep saying the word healing for that whole idea, but it definitely opened me up to more of these experiences. Mm-hmm. I used to think myself someone that won't do that, but now I could think of myself that would.
Why should people watch this film?
People should watch this film because I'm in it. And because my beautiful wife is in it. But don't look at my wife too much. Okay.
Do you have anything else to say?
Oh, yeah.
Why people should watch it?
Yeah, you should also watch it because, again, it's a group of people, who all have their own aspirations. And most of them, if not, all of them except for me and, my wife, most of them have aspirations to go into the film industry or some sort of offshoot of that. You get to see the beginnings of the greats. If you should watch it now so you can be one of the first 500 people to watch it, so then you can brag whenever you see somebody. When you see another film by Xavier Reichbaum, you can, tap your buddy's shoulder, say, hey, I watched his first film when it had only 500 views on YouTube. Bragging rights are a big thing now. Mm-hmm. But it's a good film, and that's really all you need to watch. All you need to want to watch,